kind of had a repeat of last year. Last year we beat Gonzaga, then we beat Houston, and then we had the Memphis game. So it was kind of ironic that we got a big win, kind of two big wins. I mean, not quite back-to-back, but, we've got the North Carolina win. Then we've got the Houston win, and now next game after the Houston win is Memphis again. So we've kind of talked to our guys about letdown and, being inconsistent last year a lot in the offseason this year. So we're going to see. Now, Memphis is a really good team. This isn't, like we're playing a bad team worried about a letdown. Like even if you play well, you could get beat by Memphis. We could play a really good game, just not shoot the ball well, and Memphis could beat us because they're a good team. So it's not one of those deals where, like, if we just come in and play hard, we're going to get a win. No, that's not the case. We got to play hard and we got to play well. Like, we're going to have to not turn the ball over, make shots, play hard on defense because they're good. I mean, if you look, their top 10 guys, 9 of the 10 are seniors. I think 4 or 5 of those 9 are fifth-year seniors. I mean, DeAndre Williams is 26 years old. I mean, he's older than guys on our support staff. Like they've got leadership, they've got experience, they've got a lot of stuff you're looking for in college basketball. So, and they're winning. I mean, shoot, you look at, they've only got 2 losses, had the buzzer beater, and then one early. So they're not. I don't know if it's a buzzer beater, it's a 1-point game, no, but they're a good team that's beaten some really quality team. I mean, Auburn was 11th in the country, and they handled Auburn pretty well there in Atlanta. So it's going to be a good test. We're fortunate we get them at home this year. It was on the road last year, so at least our test comes in a home environment. But I'm looking forward to see how our guys handle this test.
After the game, you talked about some of the young guys kind of stepping up, and they've kind of done that at points all season. Is there something maybe about this freshman class that you've learned since getting them on campus that you maybe didn't know during the recruiting process?
Yeah, I mean, I would say this with them. They're a lot more mature than maybe a typical freshman class, and Memphis has 9 seniors, but age doesn't always equal maturity. I think we've got some really mature freshmen, even though they're younger. I think they've shown some maturity. I think you look at a guy like Noah Clowney, I mean, he's really intellectual, asks great questions. He's super serious about his game. Jaden Bradley, very mature, handles stuff well, has handled some adversity. He had the surgery that ended his senior year. He's had to rehab all summer. Didn't play particularly well because he was coming back, was out of sync and just handled it like a pro. Just kept getting better, just worried about getting better. Brandon's had some tough games. Shoot, a Houston game. Brandon's 0 for 8 from the field. He didn't quit playing. We had him in at the end of the game. He played great defense. He got some tough rebounds. He, made 6 free throws, went 6 for 6 late game with a lot of pressure on him. There's been some adversity. Rylan Griffin, maybe not playing as well as he'd have liked at certain times, not playing as many minutes. Steps up in the Houston game in the second half when we need a big lift. Hit a big 3, got a big bucket, made some great passes, made some plays on defense. I just think they're more mature, handle adversity better than and a lot of that stuff's hard to predict when you're recruiting. You can tell how talented a kid is. It's hard to predict how mature, how they're going to handle adversity, and I think they've done a really good job with that.
Noah Clowney, you touched on him briefly, but when he got here to now, I mean, what have you seen and what stood out about just the way he's handled things and been able to put himself in a spot to be contributing like he is?
You know what? He works really hard. He treats himself like a pro. He's very intuitive, very intellectual, asks a lot of really intelligent questions, studies a lot more film than probably, I don't want to say anybody in the program because we got a few guys that really study, but he studies as much film as anybody in the program. He comes back with questions that most normal kids wouldn't come back with. Hey, what do we want to do on this? I saw this happen. Such and such did this in this game. How do we want to guard that? Hey, in practice yesterday, I went back and watched practice. This happened. I mean, he's a student of the game, like a high-level student of the game, which enables him he's an elite athlete. But when you put the athleticism involved with some IQ, which he's shown he's got, with some toughness. And I don't want to compare anybody around here to Herb Jones because that wouldn't be fair to them or her. But he's along those same lines. Like, he'll play through injuries. He's tough. He's great. He took 4 charges the game before. Like, he'll put his nose in there and make some tough plays along the same line as Herb Jones. So when you add the fact that he works really hard on his game, so his skill level is really getting better, and it came in decent. He's an elite athlete. He's got a high IQ, and he's tough. Like, that's a pretty good combination. You know, he's gonna be successful. Like, he's gonna play for money, you know, for a long time, in my opinion. So I don't know at what point, what level, and all that, but he's got a legitimate chance to be a real pro.
With Memphis coming to town, Kendrick Davis kind of comes to mind, just another scoring guard. And, you know, we've seen Namari Burnett really kind of take that one-on-one challenge, especially with Sasser on Saturday. Have you ever had guards that have been able to kind of take guys like that one-on-one and just face guard all day where, you know, you really don't need to you can kind of put them on an island, they don't need help or anything on that side? I
mean, probably not since we've been here quite like that. We did do it at Buffalo. We had some pretty tough, hard-nosed, defensive-minded guards up there that you do that with. I think Namari maybe didn't even have necessarily that reputation. A lot of guys with the ranking he had coming in and his offensive ability, you know, maybe don't want to buy into being that type of guy, that role, but he's really been all about winning, just wants to do whatever he can to help the team win. And his defense on Sasser was as big a reason we won that game as any was. So, you know, we're really trying to pump him up on that, you know, give him credit. Let's maybe make him that type of guy for us. Then I think his offense will continue to come, like, because he's a talented offensive player. I mean, he's makes shots at a high clip. We've seen him make shots. He can finish. You saw his dunk the other night. You know, his athleticism's coming back. So, you know, hopefully we can get him going here a little bit offensively. You know, maybe the defense will spur the offense, and he's already starting to come offensively. He's starting to get a lot more comfortable.
You're the first Alabama basketball coach to pass Nick Saban in the rankings since he's been here. What does that mean to you? And then do you ever step back and kind of think how quickly this has come together?
So I think I didn't realize that was the case. So repeat what you just said as the first Alabama basketball.
Nick Saban took over the football team. The basketball team's been ranked higher than the football team.
What are we ranked right now?
4, we're ranked 5.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Look, I'll say this. I think that speaks to the level of football that Nick Saban has brought to Alabama. Like, wow. Like, how long has he been here? How many years? 16 years. So for 16 years, there's a lot of polls that have come out. The football team's been, I mean, my guess is he's been number 1 or 2 in half of them. I like... The basketball team would have had to been pretty good to be ranked ahead of him. So, and you know what? Maybe when he was getting it built in the first year or two, I don't know what obviously the basketball program wasn't at the level we've gotten it to now. So I think it speaks to how ridiculous the football program is around here for it to go that long. Look, on our end, we're just trying to get a little bit better every day. And we were obviously, you know, coming off a big win over number 1 team on the road, so people recognize it. You also realize how fleeting that stuff can be. What's North Carolina ranked today? They're not. They were number 1 2 weeks ago. Okay, so it's nice to be ranked high. Let's, you know, build it up for our fans. Let's get everybody out here Tuesday. We get the number 4 ranked team in the country playing at home against Memphis, who's a really good team. It'll be a great game. But if you don't take care of business today, it's going to be gone. If you don't take care of business tomorrow, the rankings are out the window. So. And I'll say this too. Me and Coach Sampson talked before the Houston game. He's an unbelievable coach. We both said win or lose, we're both going to get a lot better from this game. We won that game last year. They went to an Elite 8 without Mark and Sasser, either one. Okay? And I talked to our team. It's a lot easier to handle failure most of the time than it is to handle success. So we just had some success. Are we mature enough to handle the success that we've had? Because last year we weren't. Last year we had some success and we didn't handle it well. We've been talking about that all summer, all fall, all coming into this. The test is here. We've now gotten the success. can we handle the success? So, yeah, I got off topic a little bit. Yeah, the question, I didn't know that. It's great. Football teams still fit best football. And to be honest with you, that ranking's probably off too, to be honest with you. They're probably better than the 5th best football team in the country. They're just whoever they lost to, however those rankings are determined, they probably deserve to be in the not probably, they do deserve to be in the playoffs, but they're not. So we'll see if we deserve the number 4 ranking or not tomorrow.
Hey, Coach, a month or so ago when we talked to you at SEC Media Days in Birmingham, you said about this team, if you don't defend, you're just not going to play. Can you talk to me about where you think the defensive intensity has been this season, not just Saturday, but through the first month or so of the season?
Been a whole lot better than it was last year. I mean, you can see and to be honest with you, some of the guys that haven't played heavy minutes that have before, it's not even always just a defensive. If they're not playing well, if you're not playing well, you're probably not going to play. So we got a lot of depth. So, but particularly on the defense, like if you're not going to give us everything you have and give us an effort, we're going to find somebody that will. So I think we really challenged Noah Gurley. I think the box score had him for 6 rebounds. We do our own stats off the video. He had 8 rebounds in a short amount of time. We really challenged Noah so Noah's rebounding a lot better than he's ever rebounded. We just went against one of the best rebounding teams in the country in Houston. He came up with 8 in fairly limited minutes. So I think you're seeing it. Guys are playing harder, giving a better effort. Anybody look at what our defensive efficiency was this morning? I think it was 11th or 12th, if I remember right, which is a lot better than 13th right now. So we're 13th. We were 92nd at the close of last year, I believe. We were 3rd 2 years ago. So we're going to keep pushing, but 13 is a lot closer to 3 than it is to 92. So we're a lot better this year than we were last year, and I think you guys can see it, and I think we still got room to grow. Like we've got some better defensive performances out there even. I think if our offense could get a little better, quit turning the ball over. Our turnovers on offense are hurting our defensive efficiency numbers because the layups were given up off the turnovers. So if we could get our offensive turnovers straightened out, that number would be even better than what it is right now.
You mentioned last year this time with the Memphis game. Do you see the few guys who are back taking that charge to explain to the younger guys what happened at that point, from that point forward, and to address the situation?
Quinley talked about it after practice today. Like, we know what happened last year. We've got some business to take care of this year. Like, we got to be locked into. The whole program talked about it. It's not a team we want to be up and down, up and down. We're up right now, and we need to be better on Tuesday than we were on Saturday. So it's been addressed. Guys on the team have addressed it. Staff's addressed it. Program knows it. We'll see. I told the guys, it's going to be, if you can't get yourself ready to go after we've talked about this for as long as we've talked about it, it's going to be hard to forget that you couldn't get yourself ready to go after all this we talked about. Like, we're going to know who's bought into the message that we've been sending for the last 6 months and who's not, based on who's ready to go tomorrow night.
You've had guard play step up in different games of the year, whether it was JQ1 and Jaden Bradley in the other. What is it like kind of managing that rotation? Is he just simply going with the hot hand at that time, or is it something a little bit deeper than that?
I do think they're all going to get an opportunity every game, provided they practice well. Today, they all practice well. Sears, Jaden, Quinterly. You've also seen us play all 3 of them together for decent amounts of time. Jaden Bradley's tough as nails. Sears is, got some strength to him, tough. Quinterly's quick. Like, you can play Jaden Bradley on some threes, especially when we put some shot blocking behind him. If you put Charles at the 5 and Clowney at the 4, or we even gone small and put Brandon Miller at the 4 some and really spread people out and have 4 playmakers out on the floor. So how do you determine all the minutes? Well, the good thing is it's not football where you can just play one point guard. It's basketball. You can play multiple, point guard meaning quarterback, but it's basketball where you can play multiple guys at the same time. So we don't have to make a decision as to which one is in the game at that time all the time. We can play multiple ones. Now, which ones are getting more minutes? I think within the course of the game, you got to figure out who's playing better, who's got a better matchup, who's taking care of the ball better. Jaden Bradley didn't have a turnover in all the minutes he played against Houston, who turns people over a lot. and we talked a lot about turnovers. So Jaden was taking care of the ball well. He was guarding well on defense. So he's given us the best chance to win. He's going to play more. And you know what? Quinterly was great with it. Like after the game, he gave me a big hug. Told you we were going to get you this one, coach. I need to play better for us. I'll be better. But I told you we're going to get to. I mean, he was as happy as can be that we got to win. I just like when the guy with the most experience, that's been here the longest, that's been the SEC tournament MVP, can be that happy, and a freshman was playing more minutes than him. That speaks to the culture that he's helped build here, that we've built, that our players really have built. And I got goosebumps like thinking about it. Like this is how far Quinterly's come. Like he's legitimately really, really happy for everybody on this team, even when he didn't play his best game. And I think he's going to play well tomorrow. He had a really good day in practice. Me and him talked about it. You got to practice well to prep yourself to play well. I thought he had a really good day in practice. So I'd look for him to be, along with Jaden had a good day too. But I think Quinterly's going to be pretty good tomorrow night.
Just had a quick follow-up on your answer about Clowney. I mean, obviously, your class top to bottom was really strong, but he wasn't that McDonald's All-American. He wasn't that five-star guy. Has he surprised you guys to a certain extent, just how well he's done so quickly?
I think he's surprised everybody outside the program a lot more than he's surprised us. But I'd be lying if I didn't say he maybe surprised us a little. Like, we knew he was going to be good. We knew he was athletic. We knew he worked hard because he's in the gym all the time. But you can't. It's really hard to tell how, we knew he was intellectual on the phone. Sometimes that doesn't translate to the court. He's really smart on the court, like really smart. So sometimes that's hard to predict, and then just how tough is a kid. The high school coach will tell you, and he played for a really good high school coach. So he came in well coached, ready to play. But again, I was a high school coach. You never want to say anything bad about your kid. So you're going to kind of get what most coaches want their kid, So sometimes that stuff's hard to predict. But his toughness and his IQ, like just how, to be honest with you, how well he comes into big games. I mean, you look at the Carolina game, how he started it. Even though he only played 3 minutes, he was good in those 3 minutes. The start of the Houston game, I mean, he's ready to play in every game. He's not scared by the bit. So that stuff's hard to know when they come in. So, yeah, probably a little surprised, but I don't even know. I don't follow the rankings all that much. So you got to be ranked high to be a McDonald's All-American. So obviously his ranking wasn't as high as if they re-ranked this class right now based on play up to this point, he'd be a lot higher than what he was, based on his play in high school. So super happy we got him. I think our staff does a great job evaluating guys. There's some guys that are ranked really high that we don't think are that good. I think they get to college and they prove they aren't that good. There's some other guys that are not ranked that high that have come in and played really well. And, Clowney's one of them. So, I think I love our current recruiting class for next year, to be honest with you. I think we've got some guys that are a little underranked right now, to be honest with you, that I think are going to surprise some people when they come in. So I think our staff's done a really good job doing our own evaluations, not just going off recruiting rankings, so to speak. And Clowney's one. I mean, he didn't play for a shoe team. He didn't play in the UIBL or Adidas or Under Armour. He played for a non-shoe team based out of Atlanta. They do a really good job, but, he's not seen by everybody. We saw him plenty, because obviously. So, I mean, he's been great for us so far this year.